Hey folks, I just got in and it's a beautiful day. It's starting to warm up a little bit here in Buffalo. And I wanted to just do a little, like I say, I'm not a preacher because I don't know the Bible well enough to make quotes and stuff. Maybe I need to work on that. But I wanted to say, I'll do a little sermon on the road to Damascus. And I want to talk about Saul. And Saul was a soldier. He was a soldier. He was an army general or something like that. But he persecuted many Christians. He put them to death. He killed them. He persecuted them, and he was very proud of it. He killed many Christians. He killed many people in the sake of killing this Christian movement. Because basically, people figured, well, Christ is dead. That was the whole object of it, that Christ is dead. And so, therefore, you can, if you kill him, and if you kill them, you kill the leader, then the sheep uh, will flee or they'll scatter. Well, maybe they did at first, but Christ really didn't die, and he, he told them before he left that this ain't his kingdom anyway. He was just going through this earthly plane anyhow. But anyway, let me get to the story, and which is um, on the road to to Damascus. Saul was he was pursuing other Christians. And again, he felt totally justified. He was a person of strong zeal and conviction. And he believed in what he believed in with great zeal. And so he was after these Christians. He's on his way to kill them. And somewhere on that road, he met God. God spoke to him. God, Jesus came to him and said, in a light, he was blinded by a light, knocked him right off his horse. There was absolutely nothing he could do but listen. And Jesus said to him, he said, uh, Saul. And Saul said, yes, Lord. He knew he was talking to. And again, I think he was he was Jewish by study, by descent. He was a line of David. He was a true Jewish. You couldn't get any more Jewish than him, I believe. Don't shoot me if I get it wrong. But or if I'm not 100% accurate on some of the logistics, okay? And I'm that kind of person. I'm not really logistical. I remember resources. I remember where to go to. Like if I wanted to know exactly, I know where to go to, to the Bible to find out. I don't remember like keyboards and key commands and stuff like. Oops, I'm knocking stuff over. I don't remember the exact keys and stuff like that. I just remember, well, it's on this end or it's on that end, and that's how I can learn a lot of stuff because I don't get into the like real technical stuff. But that not that it ain't good. I just kind of see the big picture. So the big picture is that, and this is what Saul was saying that day. He was just like, you know, he was like, you know, Lord, and he saw the Lord, and the Lord stopped him, and he said, knocked him off his horse, and he says, Saul, why do you persecute me? Why do you hate me? Why are you killing me? Why are you persecuting me? Why do you hate me? And he says, Lord. Now, again, he thought he was doing the right thing. He said, Lord, why do you say I hate you? I don't hate you. How have I persecute you? I'm doing this to do the right thing. I'm killing these people because this is what would benefit you. This thing is bad. This Christian thing is bad. And he says, you kill me every day when you kill my people. You know, and I don't understand technically, I don't understand how anybody think that killing other people is something that God wants. God put them on the planet. Who are you to judge them? I mean, the planet was just here before you ever got here. I'm not speaking specifically. I'm just speaking about that because I just finished walking outside and I look at how long the moon had to be there. And the names like the moon, people who named the moon, they were, you could tell it was an old name. And things that really are old have like simple names, like a moon. That's like the just moon. They look at the sky and they saw this big light in the sky at night and they said moon. And even the word sky, earth, very simple stuff. I mean, just ageless, timeless earth, you know, things before you don't even, our names are Latin and they're like juxtapositions of words and all this derivatives and all that kind of stuff. This is just like C, you know, just really eternal, just longevity. Well, you know what? God outlasts them. You know, how's that for a word? God. You know, you know. And when He is who He is just I am. You know, because really, His name you can't even pronounce it. You know. So anyway, let me get off of that. But Saul, after that confrontation on that road, and he was going the wrong way, he was blinded. I forgot what happened, but he turned around. He was on that road. He was on the wrong road, and he turned around. And even in his testimony, that's why I say you are never too wicked, unless you do something crazy that you just can't even ask for forgiveness. But you cannot. There is no sin too deep for God to heal, to forgive, and to change. You just ain't qualified to do that unless you just can't. You put your and why would you put yourself in a position where you can't ask for forgiveness if you choose so? Why would you give up that right? Don't get tricked into giving up the right. You know. So there's been some wicked men. And I think the men that God is so good. Jesus was on the cross, and the people who were killing him, as they were killing him, as he were dying, there was a man that was next to him on the cross, and the man was a thief, and he was dying, and he gave him forgiveness. He said, "This day I will see you in paradise." This day, because the man said, "Lord, remember me when you get to your kingdom." And when they were killing him, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Because I think that a lot of people, if they really knew, they would turn around, they would change. A lot of them just don't have the truth, just bad information that they got from the start. Lots of times, if you're like gang members, when your family turn your back on you when you're a gang member and you don't have a father or you don't have somebody to lead you and guide you with love, when you have that hate, there are groups that come and feed on that hate and suck you into it and say it's good to hate, it's good to be miserable, it's good to hate everybody else, and then you're miserable and you don't know why. They feed on that kind of thing. They tell you that, no, don't forgive. Because if you don't forgive, then you can't be forgiven. When you forgive, you can be forgiven. I told a little story earlier, and I don't have enough time. But if the king can forgive you, forgive your debts, then why would you go and not forgive somebody else when they owe you? It says in the Lord's Prayer, forgive us this day Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. You know, if he can forgive, he can forgive. You know, he can forgive those who slayed him as much as he forgive the slayer. You know, even when he was put in the jail, he set a man free who was a known murderer. You know, Barabbas. So look it up for yourself. Anyway, I think I'm out of time. I hope it posts.